Hi, today I'm going to share a 10-minute groundwork routine. This routine will work for most horses, but the exercises will look different on each horse depending on the stage of training, the muscle development, the balance, the alignment, etc., etc. If you're rehabbing, please check first whether the exercises are appropriate for you. Some horses should not be doing specific exercises at particular stages of rehab, depending on injury and where they are. So please check. You can post in the comments, ask me if you want to know whether you should or should not be doing the exercises. Part 1, warm up, and how we do that is we use that as an assessment. We also use it as communication. So there I wanted to stop. And she was a little bit not paying attention. So we want to check in first of all. So depending on how your horse lives, mine live out in the field, so they are moving a lot of the time. So then we'll determine how long or short your warm-up can be, also how much exercise your horse is doing currently, etc., etc. So we want to just check in. So she's left a little bit and just make a little bit change of direction just to bring her back to me. So I want to find just some level of communication to start with. I also want to find how she's feeling, what assessment elements I'm making while I'm having a wander around. So how is she carrying herself? How is she moving? How is she with regards to tension, brace, all of those kinds of things. So I want to find out that in the first place, because that is going to influence how I tailor my session to those specific elements. So I start first of all just connecting, communicating, checking in, finding out what's going on in the limbs, how's she moving, how's she carrying herself, etc., etc. But I'm just doing walks and stops, maybe some changes of direction. Can she follow me? Is she checking in? Now, if you're starting with this work, this may look a little different for you. So she's been doing this a long time. So it's really worth spending time on these elements. If you want more information on communication, check out my communication box video, so you can understand how I teach this and use a specific exercise for that particular scenario. So she is feeling quite soft and quite connected, so I'm going to move on to my first exercise. So my first exercise is just a little bit moving in and out. So I want to be able to move that way, so to the right, and then I want to be able to move this way to the left. So I want to do that in a way that we can stay super soft. So we're coming in a little bit and then we're going out a little bit. I really like this exercise because it starts to think about, for the horse, the left and the right side, the balance between the two. So she's left a little bit there. So again, when she comes back, I can then ask again. Notice I'm not asking with my rein, I'm asking just with my body. So this will look different again if you're just starting this exercise. So if you're just starting this exercise, go longer in one part. So for example, move this way for longer, then open, move in for longer, and then move out again. And what we're looking for is that we're looking to start to unravel any blocks in the spine. So you can see she's like releasing a little bit, having a good sneeze, having a good stretch, moving around a little bit, but still really interactive. So to come this way, I come in, go that way, I go towards her. Come this way to come in. So I'm really doing the exercise too, in order for her to find that shaping. Again, there, when your horse is finding it may be a little tricky and pulls into a stop, just let them, because again, that's part of the process. While you're starting to release things, then just let them feel it in their body, let it go through, let it process. So I really like to start with this exercise. It tells me a lot about each horse. So again, if your horse is a little stiffer, a little bit more unbalanced, you're going to find quite a big difference between going one way and going the other. So you can do this on both reins. So I have too much twisting in the neck. I'm just going to bring that back to center. So what we don't want is any kind of turning and rotating through the neck. We want to really feel that the horse can come out in the neck, not bring the neck as part of the turn. I want the shoulder, then the shoulder, then the shoulder. Whoops, too much neck bend again. So it's information and the shoulder. Good. And the shoulder. So using body language only. Again, if your horse is not established in this exercise, feel like you take longer in each part so that you can give the horse a chance to switch more easily from one direction to the other. If you're struggling like I was a little bit there with neck bend, then just go straight for a little bit, realign the neck to the middle. So I want a little bit more length in her neck. Now I can start again. There. So I walk towards her to go out. I walk in to come in. So much better than in the neck. She feels like she deserves a little treat for those exercises. So you can do these exercises. So all of these exercises can be done from various groundwork positions. So from the side, from walking backwards, on two reins. And the more your horse is trained, then obviously the more you're going to want to take that into different elements in your training. So I'm finding now the shoulders are a little bit freer. She's really easy to do this exercise with. But if your horse is a little clunky, work on that so that you're working on the horse should travel evenly from left to right, not get stuck. Oh, I can only travel in, or I can only travel out, or I have to rely completely on my neck to make the turns. Then break. So between each exercise, you just give the horse a break, let them recalibrate in their body, reassess where you are. Have you made a change? Is the horse more open? Is the horse more balanced? Or is the horse finding it more difficult? So then you create more brace, more tension, more compensation, etc. So you're noticing what effect you're having on the horse throughout your session. She's obviously thinking, oh, I'm perfect today, having a little look at herself in the mirror. So once we've done a little break, we again just let them move around. How are they carrying themselves in the break? What's going on for her? Is it better? Is it worse? Is she the same? And all of these things are really worth noting. And then once we've had a little break, so in the break, we just let them take the frame that they want to take. And then that is information. So what she is doing is taking the neck super, super long and a little bit down, which is not an ideal frame for her, but that's where she's choosing to go. So that's what's going on at the moment. That's just information. So, and when we've had a little break, we go exercise 2 is thoracic lift. So this will look very different depending on your individual horse. If they're not capable of lifting through the thoracics, then reward any try that you get at all, because what you want to do is really teach them, I can come up, I can engage, I can actually lift through there. When they're not able to do that, any kind of try is really important. So it's not about backwards or falling out behind from the pelvis, it's about lifting in the front. So what that exercise does is it really opens up all of the whither area, all of the space in between the shoulders. Then we want to lift this area here. So she is very established in this exercise. So what I'm doing is just making energy with the whip upwards and asking her to just come up a little bit in the chest. Yes. So again, any kind of try, I want to just say, yes, this exercise is really going to look different for everybody depending on where you are. So even just a little bit of, I can just come up, it then rewards. The first few for her will look a little bit less. So I'm going to go again. So whip energy. Now, if your horse doesn't know that, then what you can do is use your hand. So if your horse doesn't know about energy and the whip and like that communication, then what you can do is just use your hand here to direct energy up into the withers. So there, like that. So what we're looking for is that, like, it's a push up, like she's pushing up through the forelimbs and lifting all through this area. So what you should see is your line of your back from withers to pelvis gets less curved. Okay, so then we can walk on again. So again, we just come out of that, let them flop around, find their own little position again. And then halt again. And then do the lift again. I'm going to do it from here this time. Good. So it's not necessarily a backward thing. Backward is a little bit cheating. It's more of a lift thing. So we want there. We want lifting rather than backwards. So it's not. So here I'm just going to come out of that again because she's having a little bit of a thought of, I'm going to avoid the thing and go backwards. So then we try again. So what we want is just a lift. So energy in the whip, better. So if you go too far, then sometimes they can just go a little bit back. And we don't want back, we just want push up. Just a lift. So what you see is the front legs get straighter. There's less weight pushing through the chest. She looks like someone has put more air into the rib cage. So like puffing up a balloon, they get more broad when you do that lift. So it's a really good exercise if your horse struggles with weight distribution, tips a little bit on the front, finds it difficult to balance, gets a little tense in the neck. However, again, if you're rehabbing, be careful because you want to do appropriate exercises for where you are. Is lift and elongate through the neck. So we do thoracic sling, lift, and then can I open the neck? Good. So I want to just create a little bit more space forward in the neck. So you can see there she's taken that to an extreme. So again, I want to really feel I can try and think about halting, lifting. Good. When I get a little bit of lifting, can I bring the neck forward? That's too much. So she's really pulling and diving there rather than bringing it forward. So that just shows me she's getting a little bit caught in those shoulders. So again, halting, straighten and align the neck to the middle, lift, elongate, try and, good. Again, a little too far. So she's just taking a bit of a dive just because that's a little hard at the moment. So we don't want that element of lower in the neck like that. So again, neck to center point, tuck the shoulder, lift. So what this is really doing, good, is good girls. That was very, very good. Really connecting that top line, elongating everything, finding space in that lower neck. Again, every horse will look different in these exercises. So if you've got a horse with a big overdeveloped under neck, thoracic sling lift is not an ideal exercise. You need to focus on length first. Lift, tuck the shoulders, tuck the shoulders, lift, elongate, lift. No, so there she's just pulling back and not coming out of the neck. There. So I want that space, but then she goes to the extreme. So she does find this quite difficult for her. She has a long neck, which she can easily snake and waft around a bit, but she does that from the top. So lifting in this area here and elongating through the neck is actually quite tricky for her. So this exercise sometimes can take a little bit of getting. And also sometimes, so we have quite a, like, sometimes shoulder control is really something we need to think about. So again, lost it. So if you have a moment where you're just completely losing it, let it go, let them move around a little bit again. You don't have to like bam through the routine. You have to like go, right, this exercise is that's not beneficial at all. You're working with a body that really needs time to adjust from each position better. So there she's really taking the neck. I want this a little straighter. So there she was slamming a little bit into the pelvis again. So a little bit more alignment here. And again, each horse doing this, if you can't do the first exercise, the one before, this exercise will also be difficult. So these exercises, they do go in order a little bit, and they are like building exercises. Good. So lift and then elongate. Good. So we find that space, play with the space, figure it out. Keep changing direction. Even this is her finding that little bit of space. So we want to find that space, play with it, lift out of that lower neck. So we're engaging our abdominals. We can connect into the pelvis from there. Lift. Good. Good. Good girl. Very, very good. So really nice one there. So sometimes it's, you can work between like little break periods between exercises as well. So they're just finding a little bit more space. Yeah, so sometimes as well, when you start doing these exercises and working into the body like that, they can get super itchy because you're just releasing like the tension and the braced areas. So lift, up, 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 up. Very good. Good. Not too low. So now I'm going to say to her, every horse again, the neck position and the connection of every horse's neck will be different depending on your muscle development and where you are with regards to balance. If they're pushing through the front legs, you're going to struggle to elongate the neck because they're dropping in the chest. So really important to understand first where you are, and then really good. Good girl. So I want to tuck this shoulder in a little, lift a little more, find a little bit more space now. There, but not too low. So I can really switch on this area here. So what you're looking for when you elongate through that neck is this area here starts to work. Your under neck, so you can see with her, this is like super floppy. If that is not the case in your horse, then it's something that you need to work on, and that comes from length. So if you have a horse where this is really braced and turned on, these exercises are going to be a lot more difficult because your horse is stuck a little bit like that. However, so in those cases, these exercises will look very, very different because you need to focus first on just getting relaxation here. So relaxation there is very important. So then the final exercise is taking that into some bending and some changes of direction. So you can see now she's really experimenting through the space in the neck, but not necessarily tipping onto the front. So we're then lifting out of that neck and staying a little bit more connected here, not just dropping, but like that. So that's not what we want, because then that pulls all of the weight forward and this is lower. So then the weight distribution is over and through the front legs, not engaged. So we want to try to find, whoops. So I want to put all of that a little bit into practice. So with my bending, so I want to try and keep her a little up. Then I want to just take into some bending, focusing on up, focusing on length. So again there, she wants to just come way too long, push through it, and come too low. So I just let that happen a little bit. Re-establish. Come back to the lift. Find the middle. Keep coming up, but keep coming forward. So here I'm going to say to her, no, you're not going to drop, because there she's just pushing. Yes, exactly. So there's a better connection. So we want to feel that we can work, keep the shoulders up, keep the neck connected, work into some bending, up through thoracics, opening the neck, but not letting her then push through. So I'm just going to say to her, no, 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 we're not coming. Now there, that's better. So we want to feel that you can make some changes of direction. There again, she wants to play with space, push through the neck, swing it around a little bit. Every horse has their thing, right? Every horse has a thing that they do, and that's hers. She's like swings their head around, and she does it with everything. So like the trimmer and the dentist and the work. So that's the thing that she likes to do, and I think that is really linked to the structure and the difficulties she has within her body. But then when I know that stops happening, so a little bit like here, this is actually now quite nice. So we're coming on that little bit of bend. Now she's lost it. So then she starts to push, so I just let it go. So again, I want to come up. I want to open that space in the neck, fill up that triangle there, just in front of the shoulder. Depending on how your horse is structured, how upright the shoulders are, how the weight is distributed throughout the body will depend on the head and neck position that activates everything. So that is individual to every horse. And every horse's positioning, some might be lower, some might be higher. Every horse's positioning is different, and the activation point is different depending on if you want to find that out. So if you want a tailored plan for your particular horse, then use my assessment, functional movement assessment, and we can go through what exercises, what position your horse, your specific horse should be in. We can take into account any injuries, any things that have gone on with them, any structural aspects that need to be considered. So if you want a tailored plan, or if you're not sure, comment below. I'll help you to find the answers a little bit with regards to the exercises your horse should and should not be doing. And then when you're finished, just your cool down. So again, you see what is going on when I've finished. Is my horse then a little bit more balanced? So for her, she now looks like there's a little bit more like general roundness and connection everywhere. So this bit is most definitely more turned on from there. And it's just a quick exercise, a quick program you can use for assessment purposes. You can use the exercises themselves for assessment, to find out what your horse is finding difficult, what you need to work on. You can use this as a warm-up as well. So again, just to reiterate, if you're not sure what exercises you should and should not be doing, or where your horse should be positioned within those exercises, get in touch. I'll leave a link in the description. You can use my assessment service, comment below, ask questions, and then I can help you with your specific horse and your specific issues. Thanks so much for watching. Give the video a like if you found it useful. If you try this, I'd love to hear how you get on. Subscribe if you want more videos like this. I'm really trying to get my work out there. It really helps the channel if you subscribe. If you want more videos, more information, then please do that. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.